running game, how it's evolved throughout the first 8 games, 9 games?
Yeah, I believe I definitely believe it's improved. You know, I was sitting here this morning thinking about how much this team's improved from the first day we started spring practice to where we are now. I mean, it's really an ongoing process, and really football is about improvement and how can you get better, and then eventually how does that translate to winning games. And I think the running game's improved. I believe that it can be even better. I think some of that has to do with me as the head coach and making sure that, and as the play caller, making sure that I'm putting these guys in the best position to run the football. I think our offensive line has improved. I think our offensive line plays together and communicates well. They're tough and smart, and they're coached very well by Mac McWhorter. And then I think our running backs have competed in practice, and they've improved as the years going on with the different schemes. I mean, these are different schemes than these kids ran before. You know, we run the power one way, they ran the power a different way back, you know, before I got here. Outside zone, inside zone, you know, so it's not that easy. You know, it's not that easy to get used to the different ways of running the football and blocking schemes and things. So I do think that there's been improvement, and hopefully it can continue.
Coach, when you're assessing quarterback talent, how much do you weigh someone's physical skills versus mental and intangible qualities? And then you talk about Matt's development of both those areas.
That's a great question. They're really very equal. There are some things that are givens when you look at a quarterback. The guy has to be accurate. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has to have a rocket arm. He's got to be accurate. Bless you, Nate. He's got to be very accurate. So that's number one. Now, beyond that, what else do you look for? Well, you know, the next thing you're looking for is decision making. So when you're watching a high school game, a high school tape, okay, you have to do the best you can to decide or judge, is this guy making good decisions on tape? You don't really know what he's being coached to do. You're just looking at the film and saying, okay, it's cover one, and he tried to stuff the ball in over here, but really he should have gone over here. You try to make educated decisions on how he makes decisions. And then when you meet the young man, which in college is difficult because you're not allowed to be around him as much because of the rules, but when you do, you just try to talk to him and learn about him as a person, learn how well he communicates, how his mind works, how he thinks about things, and then so obviously intelligence becomes a big factor. And Matt, we knew right away that we had a smart guy. We knew right away we had a guy that was going to work. We knew we had a competitive guy, and you have to give Matt a lot of credit because to this point in the season, he's people have critiqued him and this and that. I mean, but you know, this guy's had a good year, and the proof's in how he's played, and he's meant a lot to our football team, and I'm proud of the kid for how far he's come.
A lot of the other players say that Monty and Hodges, one reason for their success is like their motor and everything that they have on the field, but how much of their success also do you think you can trace to the amount of time they prepare and study and watch film, perhaps even outside of practice?
Well, again, so a lot of these questions today lead back to the player themselves, like I've said, but also the coaching. I think Ted and Ron Vanderlyn and Ted Roof have done an excellent job of coaching these guys. Ted within the scheme of what he's trying to do, and then Ron and the individual techniques of how to play the position. And then you have to give all those guys, all those linebackers, you know, Mouty, Hodges, Carson, Hall, Yancich, Klein, they all watch film together on their own. And they're self-motivated guys. They practice hard. Practice is very important to them. They lift hard in the weight room. They prepare their bodies and they prepare their minds. And you know, it's been pretty cool to watch these guys play this year.
Going back to Glenn for a second, Bill. At this point in the season, are you finding you're able to get a little bit more nuanced with him than you were, you know, in the spring or even August or September? Just knowing, you know, does he come to you and say, hey, I think we should do this, and you guys are pretty much on the same page that way? Yeah,
no question. You know, he's earned my trust, and he studies tape, and I wouldn't say that he comes to me a lot with ideas, you know, but he does during the games. He sees things, and he'll say, hey, you know, they're doing this, we might want to try that, and you know, they're good thoughts. You know, the touchdown against Purdue on the fake slip and go there, that was Matt. You know, hey, you know, coach, they're jumping that slip screen. We might want to go. You know, that was Matt. So yeah, you know, as you learn more about your role and you learn more about the offense, you certainly have every right to have communication between coach and player, and Matt's definitely earned that right.
And do you want to have that as a coach, a player that, you know, makes suggestions, or, you know?
I want a player that understands that he needs to earn the right to do that. But then once he shows us and gains our trust that he can go out there and make plays and get us into the right play and make good decisions, that yeah, as the relationship builds, you definitely want to hear what he thinks.
Coach, especially in Big Ten play, Nebraska seemed to find an extra gear in the fourth quarter. Just wondering what you've seen from them, especially at the end of games.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I think this is a heck of a team. This is a really good, explosive football team that's very well coached. I mean, this is a huge challenge for us. And and I think that goes back to coaching. You know, Bo does a great job. I have a lot of respect for Bo. I think, you know, in many ways, we see the game in similar ways, and just from watching them on tape, and they seem to, especially in Big Ten games, they have really good fourth quarters. So again, it's going to be a huge challenge for us, and try to keep it close so that in the fourth quarter it's still a game. That's what we're going to try to do.
Hey, Bill, kind of in line with that, in the Big Ten and their wins, they're averaging about 2 minutes of drive, two-part, a scoring drive. Two parts of that. One, how much does it help that your defense is used to that pace?
Right.
Two, do you do anything to slow that down?
Right. Well, number one is that they do a great job with their no huddle up tempo package. That they play very fast. So hopefully, you know, we've basically practiced that every time that we've been out on the practice field. Some form of fast paced no huddle. Excuse me. So hopefully our players will be ready for the tempo. You never totally get that same exact tempo in practice that you're going to get in the game, but hopefully they'll do it. And then there's different things that we do to try to slow the tempo down a little bit, but I'll keep that between myself and our coaches. But there's definitely some tricks of the trade that you can do to slow some things down.
Bill, you talked about the improvement the team's making, and without a bowl game, I'm wondering if you could kind of frame what this game means to the three-game stretch that you have, and how much a strong finish would mean to what you've built here this year.
Well, again, I believe that every game's meant a lot to us, you know, and some games we always wish that we could have back. You know, we wish we could have coached better, played better, but when you only have 12 opportunities, every single game is a big game, and so this game is no bigger than any other game. It's just another big game, and it's against a very, very good team, and you know, we just want to continue to try to play well, build off of Purdue and the Purdue game, and know that we're going into a tough environment and try to play as well as we can.
And also, it came up about your secondary. How do you feel those guys have caught the ball, and your defense catching the ball in general? It seems that there have been maybe some more opportunities for interceptions. I'm just wondering how you would assess that.
Yeah, I believe that they, you know, obviously we've left some interceptions, you know, on the field we could have caught, and they, you know, our players know that, and our players work extremely hard at that. You know, with ball drills during practice, catching the football is not as easy as maybe like Allen Robinson makes it seem. You know, catching the football is an acquired skill, and our guys are working hard on it, and hopefully you'll see over the last 3 games, we'll see some improvement there. But, you know, you'd like for the ball, when the ball's in the air and you have a shot at it, to be able to come down with it, and overall we'll probably need to do a better job there.
Here in the front, I guess. You've been at the grind for a while, and now you don't have a bowl game to play for. Has there ever been a point in the past couple of weeks where you've been worried about players' focus or intensity during practice?
I really have not. I really haven't, and if I ever sensed anything, I try to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. But this is one thing that impresses me a lot about this football team, is that they come out to practice every single day, and they practice hard, and I think they really enjoy practicing, and they have fun. We do try to have fun. You know, You've been to the practices, we crank the music, we do certain things, we move fast, it's not just like, you know, huddle, break the huddle, run a dive play. huddle up again, run another dive play. You know what I mean? We try to mix things up and practice situational football and compete against each other. So, you know, these guys have really taken to the way we practice, and they've had fun doing it.
Have you done anything different in the last week to kind of change it up?
I would say that last week, early in the week, I did something different, but I'll just keep that between myself and the team.
Veterans Day coming up. Not a lot of college football programs have a military veteran on your team. You guys do with PJ Byers. What does a player with that, you know, the more life experience and a different life experience bring to this particular team?
Yeah, we also have Brent Smith, who I believe served 2 tours in Iraq. So yeah, it's a big deal, and it's really neat to have these guys around because they're a little bit older, and you know, obviously they've been through a lot more than any of us, you know, and so the players on our team have a lot of respect for them, and the perspective that they bring to the football team is pretty neat. And so, you know, obviously I've said this before that our football program, myself, we have so much respect for our military and our veterans who are fighting in all corners of the world, and for us, for our ability to play football on Saturdays and go to school at Penn State Monday through Friday. So it's a big deal. We're lucky to have 2 of those guys on our football team.
Bill, Brendan Mosby fell years ago. We didn't see a whole lot in the beginning of the season, but the last 4 weeks he's gotten more and more targets. Why has he seen so much more work, and how much has he improved since week 1?
He's improved a lot. He's played the whole season, but yeah, you've seen him over the last few weeks catch a few more balls. He's improved in his route running. He's done everything we've asked him to do in the running game. He blocks down safety, blocks corners, blocks for the screens. He's a team guy. He's one of the more improved guys on our football team from a route running standpoint, from a health standpoint, from a durability standpoint. He's catching the ball better, and hopefully he can continue to improve over the next 3 weeks.
Hey Bill, front left. Jesse James stepped in for Kyle Carter pretty well against Purdue. How has he developed this season, and what kind of potential do you think he has going forward?
He has unlimited potential. He is a 6'7", 265-pound young kid who came out of high school early. Took a while to learn what we were trying to do, but you know, he kept working at it. He's a hard-working Pittsburgh kid, and he's coached well again by John Strollo, and he's learned the offense, and he's become stronger in the weight room. So, you know, we're really expecting big things from Jesse over the next few years, no question about it, in the next few games.
Yeah, Bill, you guys, going back to the guys' question, you had said about, you know, Nebraska, the run-on program. Will you reach out to them at any point to pick their brain about that? And if so, when, and how do you expect it to be?
Yeah, not just Nebraska. I'm going to reach out to a few programs. I'm going to kind of leave that between myself and our staff right now, but a few programs here in the offseason. You know, it's all about, in my opinion, a little bit of professional development, but also some programs that, like you just said, for example, that have great examples of run-on programs in their history. And so we'll definitely, personally, I'll reach out to some of those coaches or athletic directors and see how exactly they went about doing that. And I already have done